Don't sneak up on me like that, especially when I'm cleaning my firearm. Anyway, I'm Lieutenant Lunchbox, and I'm here to tell you that this episode is going to be a good one. And we're going to be talking about the origins of Halloween. We're going to talk about where it came from, how it got to America. We're also going to talk about whether or not is it a good enough holiday to keep around. Is it too evil? Are we letting in the evil spirits? I don't really know, but we're going to talk about it today on this episode of What the Fuck America. So please, stay tuned, all right? Move out!
It was a long time ago, longer now than it seems, in a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams, for the story that you are about to be told took place in the holiday worlds of old. Now, you probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
Boys and girls of every age, would you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. It's our Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Pumpkins screaming day or night. This is Halloween. Everybody make a scene. Trick or treat. Seven eggs and a die. It's our town. Everybody scream. This town of Halloween. It's our town. Everybody scream.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this episode of What the Fuck America. I'm your host, Mr. Mikey V, and here's your boy Rob. How you doing, Rob?
What up, world?
And we also got Sarah
How y'all
Love
doing?
in the house. How you doing, Sarah?
Hello.
Nice. All right, y'all. So today,
What up,
what we got
Sarah?
set up for you guys today is we're going to talk about the origins of Halloween. Ooh. See, we're all dressed up here. Sarah's a witch. Obviously, I'm an army guy, and Rob is a zombie. Rob
I'm a
Zombie.
podcaster.
He's a podcaster. Good one.
I had some scary shit, man.
That's funny.
Scary
right.
shit. Scary.
So
shit.
yeah, we're going to get into the origins of Halloween today. We're going to talk about how it got started, how it came to America, where it began, and kind of how we know it to be today. You know, look at us now. You know, this is what it's become, right?
Where it began.
Yeah.
Fake mustaches and cop shades.
Yeah. This is- I look good. I think I like this look. I might have to work on this look when I get done with all this. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
So, anybody out there, do you guys know what Halloween is? What do you know where it came from, when it got started, how it all began? What is it that you know about Halloween, Rob? What have you heard?
Man, I heard some crazy spooky shit about Halloween, bro. And it's kind of part of the reason why I don't really celebrate it, and that's why I'm not dressed up with you guys, is because it goes way back, man. It's some evil shit, it's a pagan ritual or pagan religion. It comes from that. It branches off from that. There's a couple stories. There's a couple
You guys are gonna, man, this is gonna take me 3 days to edit this motherfucking shit. Damn.
Hold on, bro.
What is the problem?
My mind went blank. That's what happened. My mind went blank. That's what happened.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
What is Halloween all about, right? Well, today we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you
Yeah.
what we've learned about Halloween and where it comes from, right? Sarah, what have you heard about Halloween? Do you know anything about? You're our admin. You're the smartest one on the show, so let's hear what you got to say.
We're doomed. Well, I happen to have done some research in preparation for the show, so I know more now than I did 2 weeks ago. I've learned a lot. I still think now knowing what I do about it, I still think that it's about the same shit. I think that it's about spooky shit and scaring people and getting candy, and regardless of how it got there, I think it's still the same. But that's okay. Like, I'm cool with that.
Right.
So I kind of feel the same way, but I did learn a lot about like what the trick or treat thing is, and that trick or treat actually wasn't trick or treat except for the last like 80 years or so. Like that kind of came up out of nowhere, but the idea went back way farther.
I think it was like the 16th century or something like that was
It was. You're right.
kind of like the
Medieval.
original. Yeah, like in those mid ages, or
Mhm.
what are the medieval ages? Yeah, right. The 16th century,
Middle
right?
Ages, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like that was around the time that whole, I mean, I guess it even then wasn't even like, do you even want to call it a Halloween concept? It was more of because like their belief
Back then they called it, I want to believe they called it the Souls Day, or Souls.
yeah,
Souls.
the
Well,
kids.
that
Souls
gets
Day or
kinda
Souls Fest,
cloudy.
or
It kind of gets cloudy because Halloween actually came before All Souls Day, because it was the
Right.
night before.
Yeah,
That's
All
where
Souls Day.
Halloween came from. It was All Hallows Eve
Right.
evening, because it was the evening before All Saints Day.
But
But it's
see,
kind of always like consistently been a celebration of death
so
preceding a celebration of life.
So let's bring it back to where that is, right? So where that all begins is actually in the Celtic cultures, in the early ages. The way the Celts divided up the year was between the light half and the dark half of the year, right? And when they celebrated the coming of the dark half of the year, they celebrated it on October 31st. Okay, it wasn't necessarily Halloween, and to them, they weren't celebrating like dead people, like how we know Halloween today. They were just celebrating the fact that it was getting cold out, it was getting dark out, and in their folklore, you got to put your mind into the Celtic cultures and what they believed in at the time. Death and spirits and things were a very real thing to them, not like the way we view it today. So basically they would celebrate the dark half of the year on October 31st, and they would light bonfires, they would have their harvest, and how they associated death with that was farming. If you didn't have enough crops to get you through the winter, that was almost certain death for you and your family.
Well, it was that, and it was, I mean, look at like the trees and the plant life around you in the fall, all of those things die. And so it was kind of death all around. And
Yeah.
and yes, if you didn't have enough food to get you through the winter, you would die. But I mean, it's kind of not where it was really coming from that perspective.
Right. But I mean, it
it's
originally started as a tradition, a pagan tradition, a pagan celebration. That was the pagan way of celebrating
what I
it,
was about to
was
say.
separating the light half and the dark half of the year.
Mhm.
That's how they measured their year. So once you got
No,
that,
well, it was more than just, I believe it was more than just separating the light in the half of the year. I mean, it went into rituals, like it was a sacrifice for them, because at that time of the year when everything was dying and changing, brought out like the spirits more between this world, like in between the realms. So at that time
is-
they did they did more sacrifices than they would normally would do throughout the year,
right.
because it was more of a I don't know, what do you call it, like they were more,
Well, it's called, so
there was
basically
the veil was lifted,
phrase
is what they said. The veil
yes,
lifted
the
between the
phrase that's most
realms
commonly used
on that
is
night.
that it's at its thinnest. It's not necessarily lifted,
Yeah,
but the veil
thinnest.
separating death and life is at its thinnest on that day. And so
Right.
it's more likely to be able to communicate, or for one to get lost in one direction or the other.
Right. And we actually have a lot of cultures that kind of run with that same
And-
concept, right? Like the Spanish culture, they have the
Mhm.
Day of the Dead, where they
Well,
paint their face like the sugar skull so they can walk amongst the dead and not be recognized as the living and get lost in that
and
world.
get lost in the underworld.
Right, because the two worlds
But
kind of
mask
mingle.
is because but the reason why they created mask for Halloween is because they wanted to blend in, or they didn't want they wanted to scare off the demons and the spirits. That's the reason why they created mask, and everybody wears masks.
Well, that's one school of thought.
Yeah.
The other, and the one that I was researching recently, the masks were very simply because Halloween developed into a very mischievous night, and there was a lot of vandalism, and there was a lot of tricks going on. Like kids would pull pranks on people and their properties, and people would like open gates and let the cows out that night as a prank. They would break windows, and it actually started being very violent.
Yeah, actually, they called they had a
their
night.
identity.
They had a night called Gate Night. It was called Gate Night, where they would get the night before Halloween. What we know now is Mischief Night or Hell Night, where we all go out and do something crazy. That was actually called Gate Night. Yeah, because they would go and let livestock out, man, and just let all the farmers' cows out, and their animals be running everywhere. Fucked up. I'd beat the little kids.
So the kids that were pulling these pranks would wear masks to conceal their identities, so that they couldn't get in trouble for having done this.
Right.
And then that's kind of where, so like the candy.
But didn't it turn into like plays too?
But
it would.
No, during the
farther back in the timeline.
Right. Okay.
No, it was back when they called it, what'd you call it, the All Souls Day, or what was that you called it earlier?
Well,
sir?
All Souls Day.
Yeah.
Is November
During
1st.
then they were wearing the mask though, but they were wearing the mask though as well to ward off the evil spirits.
Yeah, that was part of like a serious belief that they had.
Yeah, that was something that was like through the church.
Yeah, so I'm just saying the mask. I think the masks were more of a bigger thing than just before the vandalism and the craziness that went on, that the kids were doing. And that's actually how the treats became involved as well, because the people start offering the children treats for them not to destroy their properties and shit.
Okay, so see, this is how it transitioned.
Over time.
It transitioned from, because Christianity was starting to spread through Europe. And the way that they wanted to stamp out the pagan way and convert pagans and paganism to Christianity, right? Yeah. So the way the church tried to implement that was,
and the church was wrong. I read about that. The church was wrong for doing that shit. They should have just abolished Halloween altogether, because Halloween really is about evil and worshiping demons and
listen,
and spirits.
What I learned is that
they brainwash our kids today with this shit by you guys dressing up in witches costumes. Like back in the medieval days and stuff, they used to stone witches and warlocks in real life and shit, but we don't do it today though. You see what I'm saying? Because because of the church, the way the church implemented Halloween, and it branched off into what we have today.
The way they tried to convert pagans was on the church's All Souls Day, right? Was May 13th. It was called Lemuria Day. And the way they tried to convert it, they decided to change that day to November 1st, right? So then Lemuria All Souls Day was November 1st. And then you had Hallows Eve, which Lemuria was the pagan way of saying it. And then Hallows Day is the Christian way of saying it, right? So that's how they try to convert it. Like, so they called Lemuria Hallows Day. So that was November 1st. Then you had Hallows Eve, right? The night before, that was the day where, you could get lost in the realm of death.
Hallows Day was the celebration of those that have passed. It was All Saints Day, so it was like a celebration of saints. Then they made November 2nd. Yes. Then they made November 2nd kind of an all over celebrate your dead ancestors kind of thing. But the night before was like a celebration of death, and not like the celebration of life so much as the following.
It's more days. Like the death part of
it was more like a sinister, spookier preface.
Yeah, but see, they
to
trick
the
us though.
celebration.
That's why they call it trick or treat. They trick us. Listen to this.
I knew something
They
like this was
trick
coming.
us into like our kids and shit. Yeah. Look, no, they trick us. They let our kids grow up believing that they're with Halloween. It's basically they don't know that they're really conjuring up demons and spirits when they wear these masks. When you carve into a pumpkin and set that pumpkin outside your front door, you're enabling these demons to enter your home. Like there is a story about the jack-o'-lantern and the devil. They called him the reason why they start calling it jack-o'-lantern is because there's a guy named what was he called?
His name was Jack a Lantern.
No, his name was Sneaky Jack or Sleepy Jack or some shit they used to call him.
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, no, but it's the story about the how jack-o'-lantern got its name, and it's because Sleepy Jack was drinking with the devil and he couldn't pay for the Stingy Jack. That's what it was. He was stingy, but he was drinking with the devil and he didn't want to pay for the damn drink. So he told the devil, he made a deal with the devil and said, you can turn like my soul or me or something, I can't really remember, into a coin so we can pay for these damn drinks. And I guess the devil did it, but Stingy Jack never paid up or something. So like the devil had created him turned him into a jack-o'-lantern or some shit, and that's where it's a crazy ass story. I'd have to
okay.
Story.
No, there is a story of jack-o'-lantern.
Listen,
Of jack-o'-lantern?
Yes,
What do you
this is
mean?
the story.
Red.
This is the story I heard, bro. It's kind of similar. Like, okay, so the story Jack O'Lantern was the guy's name. He was a character, like a character created in a story. He wasn't a real. It was a fictional character, and what it was Jack was a naughty person.
Stingy Jack.
Right. Okay. Stingy Jack. He was naughty. He was stingy. He was just a bad guy all around. Right. And he went to hell and became part of the devil's realm. But he was so bad, apparently, that Stingy Jack got kicked out of hell. The devil kicked him out. Right. This is the story I heard. And so, but look, the devil still kind of liked him because he was an asshole, right? Because Stingy Jack was an asshole. So devil was like, you're cool, all right, but you're not cool enough to stay in my crib. Get the fuck out of here. So he kicked him back up to the reality realm.
Get kicked out of hell.
Right. But listen, he got kicked out of hell, right? You're bad enough to get kicked out of hell, but the devil still liked him. So this is what he did for him. The devil scooped up an ember from hell and gave it to Jack. And what Jack did with it is he stuck it in a hollowed out turtle.
Watch this.
Turnip.
A turtle.
I'm telling you, it was a turnip.
No, it wasn't. It was a turtle that's hollowed out.
We can't even believe what the hell's going on about Halloween. There's so many damn stories and shit. How the hell are we supposed to believe what
but
the,
no,
what
the
is
turnip
real
thing is a true thing.
I do know one thing though. Listen to me. I do know one thing though, that it does say it in the Bible that you should not celebrate Halloween in the appearance of evil and shit. That means you should not dress up as a witch or dress up as a whatever the hell you think you is, scary sergeant over there.
Gomer Bile, lecture show.
Halloween.
It says you should
Halloween
not.
didn't
No, it
exist
says
when the
it's
Bible
like
was written.
celebrating Halloween. What do you mean it wasn't?
Halloween did not exist until like 680 AD.
The beginning
And it
of
wasn't even Halloween then.
It's just
Nobody dressed up at the time.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay, but to even represent yourself as something evil or in the likes of something evil is against God. It's in the Bible.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Rob. I get what you're saying. You're saying basically you're dressing up like the evil that could
witchcraft, wizard, demons, all that shit is all evil.
Yeah, but dude, listen,
and you're
if
representing
you know
that shit,
anything
and
about
you're showing
the
these kids how to conjure up these demons and these witches and shit. That's why they used to get stoned back in the day.
Telling me
No.
And they quit doing it.
Up like Scooby Doo is gonna send
Magic. You're practicing a pagan religion right now. When you're doing it, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're practicing a pagan religion right now.
You're right. It's a what is the word I'm looking for? Derivation.
That's all I'm saying. And that's what the Illuminati are. Listen to me. That's what the Illuminati are. I'm just saying they are. That's what they practice. That's what they believe in. You dressing up as a witch, going out there, being involved in this practice, you're a
can
part
tell
of it.
you
But
with
Rob,
100% certainty that I have never cast a spell in my entire life. I'm not practicing
But people do
witchcraft.
though. But
I
people
put
do
dry
though.
ice in a bucket and I got a fog machine, bro. There is no spell about
But you got the appearance of a witch, the pale face, the
okay, but
hat,
listen,
the
Rob,
darkness,
it
the
goes-
death of it.
it goes deeper
No, what
than
you
that. You
mean?
guys don't even understand. You guys
That
are
is
arguing
deep.
over. You guys are arguing over a character,
fuck
a
you talking
fictional
about? That is
character,
deep.
bro. A witch
No,
That's
it's
isn't
what I'm
more
even.
than.
saying.
What do
witch
you
is
mean
not
it's a
even real.
fictional?
It's
Yeah,
not
they
even real.
are.
Which
They
is right.
were real. Yes,
No.
people practice
No.
witchcraft.
Listen,
Yes, they
listen.
fucking do.
Let me
What are
tell you
talking
why.
about, bro?
Let me
Okay.
tell you something. The reason why people believe there were
You are
witches,
insane if you don't believe there are
Listen,
witches. They
let me
really are
talk.
people who cast spells.
Let
and
me
shit.
talk. Let me talk. Let
I'm
me
just
tell
saying.
you. Let me tell you. The reason why they
Captains.
believe there's witches is because of the church. The church decided that a woman, because they were mainly women, right? Decided that a
They
woman
were
that
single
knew
women
how
that lived alone.
to create herbs and potions and things that could heal people. Like
Okay,
saying,
but it was
saying
more
like
than
this. Listen,
just that
listen,
either, too. though.
listen. When an aspirin comes from a plant, right? You can take aspirin for a headache. If you were to do that back in those days, the church thought you were a devil, a demon.
I
for
do believe in
doing
that
magic.
though too.
Right. For
Right?
curing your
But
headache.
some
or-
But
people-
listen.
Okay.
This is what happened. The church decided that the women that were healers, the ones that were healing people, that they were bad, that they were associated to demons. So they called them witches. And why? Because they knew how to make a potion that could make either somebody sick, because, you know, they didn't have science. They were learning the shit, right? They were finding the plants that would help you. They were discovering the plants that were bad for you. So yeah, to the church that looked like, ooh, they're into some crazy shit. Over 300,000 women lost their lives during the witch trials of the 1600s, bro, because
I understand.
they were
I
thought to
understand
be
that. I
demons.
understand
Why?
that.
Because they knew how to work with herbs, because they knew how to do this. So witches weren't real. Those weren't a real demon, man.
But
That was
okay,
something that was put there by the church.
but
in your head by the
there
church.
is some though. There is some. No, there
they're not
is some that
associated
get
with things like
demonically
black
possessed.
hats and pointy hats and cauldrons and
And then there were some
brooms and
females
shit.
that
Yeah,
used the shit for evil anyway, too. Not all of them used the herbs and stuff they created for good.
Well,
They
not
also
all-
there was
not-
the
not
bad ones in the
everybody-
bunch
not
too. The
everybody
bad apples.
Not everybody uses OxyContin to heal themselves, and then when they're done with it, they stop using it, right? They get into
there's people abuse things all
addictions.
the time.
Yeah, they overdo it.
People
And
abuse
you got to
power.
just think about it like that. You got to put yourself in the way the situation would be for those days. So I
So
get
you
it.
don't believe that a person could get demonically possessed from an evil spirit?
Not by dressing up as something. No, I think if you practice a certain type of craft, black magic, I would say, I wouldn't even call it witchcraft, because I feel like a witch is a made up character, because the church decided that a woman that can work with herbs and create potions was a witch. 'cause
Okay,
she
what
can
about
do
a
stuff.
voodoo lady, a person that does voodoo or
Black magic?
It all goes into that. Black magic, voodoo, any type
Black
of
magic
magic
is basically
that's witchcraft.
anything
That's evil.
that's evil. You're right. That's evil. That's used for evil. That's what I'm saying.
But this get up, this
Okay,
is not evil.
so
This is
evil,
not-
evil. Okay, but that was the appearance of the evil witches
This
that
was
were.
the appearance.
how
of
they
the
would
people
dress
that
up,
were
and they-
presumed to be witches. And it was
Yeah.
just because the reason that we dress like this is just because this is what they look like.
They
this
were
is a
dark.
very common hat for
in
them
the
to have worn.
In the 1600s, women wore a
They were
pointy
dark.
hat with like this and
They
a
were
pointy
dark
hat.
people.
That's what they were. That's what it was. It was a fashion. It wasn't.
But if they had been accused of witchcraft, wearing that hat and owning something that the people that are accusing them
all
as
of them
well.
weren't. Obviously, I understand that. All of them, all of the ladies that got burnt at the stake, they weren't.
Yeah, they
all
were
witches,
being
but
tortured,
I guarantee you, there
and
were
they were
some
just
of
like,
them,
"Oh
bro.
yeah,
I guarantee you, some of them were.
Lisa is a witch because why? Because I'm tired of getting
There's
poked at with
witches
a
today.
hot prod." You know. But yeah, man. So like,
And it
you know,
and it all goes back to the pagan religion and the demonic shit, man. And that's the reason why. Either way, it's still being in the appearance of this evilness.
but that's the
and
thing,
you're not really
Rob,
supposed to
is
have a
that
part
the
of that. So
Christianity,
that's the reason why I don't really
the
celebrate
church,
Halloween.
the church was trying to convert the people from the pagan ways, and the way they did it was by implementing Halloween. Now, Halloween is a Christian holiday, not a pagan holiday. That's the
Well,
difference.
either way, I believe that we should just get rid of the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a $3 billion a year industry that they make in 1 month. $3 billion fucking dollars, bruh, for some kids eating some candy and some people dressing up, acting like they some demons and shit. I mean, why not we just get rid of it and use that money to help out the poor people in the country or something? I mean, I think it's a waste of time.
Because
There
I
are
think
some
I think
people
it goes
that
deeper
just keeping
than
it
that.
real, man.
It does go deeper than that because of the roots, because of it
I think
being
it brainwashes our children.
not even a holiday to begin with. It was not even
it
a holiday.
brainwashes them.
It was a church
Yeah,
function, a
into
church
believing
thing.
that magic and demons and spirits and all that shit is cool when it's not. It
kids
says it in
don't
the
think
Bible. You're not
that's
supposed to
what
contact.
happens.
You're not supposed to try to contact the dead. And it also states in the Bible that it says that the dead. It's not about the dead. Like they want you to think that you can contact your ancestors and all that shit. When you're dead, you're dead. It's demons. When you see spirits and shit, those are devils and demons.
Kids today
Those
do
are
not believe that
Lucifer's
shit about Halloween.
entities.
The only thing Halloween
When you
is
get into the
for
Ouija,
kids
what comes out
today-
during Halloween? Ouija boards, shit
People
like
that
that,
use
haunted
Ouija
houses,
boards
all
will
that
use
shit.
that on a Tuesday in September. I'll tell
But
you
listen,
something.
that's
They don't care that it's
that's
Halloween.
actually kind of how the
But it
trick-or-treating got
goes
started, you
into-
guys. Listen, that's
Yeah,
how the
it goes into
trick-or-treating got
the-
started, because what they would do is on All Saints Day, November 1st, the church would pray for all the holiest Christians that have passed, right? Then on the November 2nd, on All Souls Day, they would pray for anybody that had passed, because they believed that your soul was stuck in purgatory. And the only way to get out of purgatory was to pray for that soul. And if you got enough prayers, that soul would be lifted to heaven, right? So then on the 2nd of November, on All Souls Day, kids and beggars decided to go around and ask for little treats, like, give me a treat and
They were
I will
called
pray
souling.
for you. They were souling. They were called going souling.
Yeah,
And
I
they would
remember. I
pray.
heard
They
something
would
about
pray
that.
for you, for your dead people, because you wanted to get as many prayers as possible so that your loved one could get their soul to heaven, right? So they would give kids cakes and things like that, and they would pray for the souls to go to heaven. So it's like, the church is really the one that created the holiday, not the pagans. The pagans celebrated it as their own ritual to separate.
Sacrifices. Either way, there were sacrifices. There were sacrifices involved in it. First, to be honest, they did it. They wanted the, no, listen. They wanted the kids to go trick or treating, because that's before the abortion laws and stuff. That's how they were snatching up the kids when they go running around the doors and masks and shit. That's how they were snatching the kids up for the rituals and shit. The pagans were. Seriously.
Really? I didn't.
But now, yes.
I didn't hear
That's why
nothing
so
like
many
that.
kids go missing during Halloween. All
wanna
over the
know-
United States, all over the
Okay.
world, or wherever they do
Well,
Halloween.
I think that people have figured out that yes, that's a good time to go and kidnap a kid, because most of them are out in groups of 5 or 6 kids, and they're walking down the streets by themselves with masks on, and everybody can dress up. And yes, you're on that day, you're more prone to having something like that happen to you. That's why we're such, like, where Halloween almost doesn't even exist no more because you can't trust the people that are handing out the candy. You can't trust your kids to go walking down the street.
So
But
it shouldn't even exist anyway.
something. That's not
fucking
something that started from the pagan days, though. That's not
That's
something that
because
started.
human beings are disgusting and they will take any
Right.
opportunity to snatch up a child.
Either
for their
way.
own
Right.
purposes.
Okay. Either way, the bottom line, either way, dude, they do rituals on this during this fucking month, like huge ones. They conjure up dead demons, or not even dead people, but demons and spirits and shit. Fuck it. We don't need to celebrate it as a
But I don't
society.
believe
Kids
that's
today don't do these things for Halloween unless
Yeah.
it's part of their family's religion, in which case Halloween doesn't matter. They do that all the rest of the days of the year too.
yeah.
Halloween today for kids is an opportunity to dress up like something fun, and for some kids that's bloody. Some kids it's their favorite TV show. Some kids it's
Right.
something like this, something simple like a witch that's easy. And they go and get candy, and then they eat that candy and as quickly as their parents will let them, and that's their fun.
Yeah.
Well,
and honestly, the
being a
trick or
witch,
treat
listen to
thing
me
didn't
though.
even start.
Being a witch, when
Which is
you're
not a real
5,
character.
6, okay, whatever, 5, 6 years old, puts it in your mind when you're 5, 6 years old. Oh, I wonder they're gonna get into witches and then eventually get into witchcraft and want to get into tarot reading and all this fucking shit that we shouldn't even be a part of, trying to talk to dead spirits and all this.
Our kids can get
It
into
brainwashes
anything.
them.
They can get into heroin, but we're
Right,
not.
but
You
it's
know,
not gonna
all
be
we
because
can
of a Halloween
do,
costume.
all we can do is explain to them what is the truth and what is not the truth, right? So, like, when you send
Well-
your kid out into the world, you're hoping that he knows that, hey, you know, if he comes across his friends messing with some kind of drugs, some heavy drugs, you know, he's gonna stay away from that. He's not gonna, you know, because you've taught him right.
Well,
You've
let's
taught
think.
him
Let's.
well.
I want to know what the audience thinks. Y'all leave me some comments below. And do you guys agree with me on this? Like, I think Halloween is bullshit.
Has
Obviously,
anybody
these two knuckleheads right here are against
Has-
me, so I need somebody to help me out. So y'all,
I want to know. I want to know
hit me up in the
somebody,
comments.
somebody that has had a child in their life, doesn't have to be theirs, a child, any child, dress up like something and then pursue it as their own religion. For example, a witch. Has your 5 or 6 year old, or however old, dressed up like something like a witch, and then decided that that was going to be their way of life till death do us part? I would like to know if there is anybody that watches this video that this has happened to. I would like to know, please, because I
Let
really,
us know, guys.
I really think.
I mean,
that
it could be
a Halloween costume.
Well,
is
obviously, they're
just
not going to dress
that.
up like a witch for the rest of their life, but it brings in the evilness, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Okay,
you're,
I understand what
when
you're
you
saying
put it in
about
the
that.
kid's face and they celebrate it, yeah, they're more acceptable to
I
the
don't think
demons and evil
dressing
shit,
up-
the
But I don't
actual
think-
really spirits,
I don't
because
think
that
our
shit does
kids-
exist. It exists, and when you mock it, it conjures the shit up.
But then you
And
it only
you
it
have
only
evil
works if you
spirits and shit
allow
monitoring you, floating around you.
look, it only works though if you allow the evil spirits to manifest. If you don't allow
Okay,
them to manifest,
well, how can a 5 or 6 year old how can they know that?
because they're
I don't think
they're
anybody's
like,
ever conjured up a spirit by accident.
I would
You
say
got to be trying to do
yeah.
it, because people that try fail sometimes. Like, you have to try and be good at it. There is no conjuring up an evil spirit by accident. I've never ever heard of a 5-year-old accidentally dressing up and bringing a demon into their house or their body, or their soul escapes because they dressed up like a zombie. Like, I have never ever heard of somebody conjuring a demon by accident.
Only by
can happen.
doing
People
only
get-
by
people
doing the
get
rituals that you're talking about,
That's
Rob.
all the damn time you've seen Exorcist, and that's some real shit. Exorcist, the demons get in and them. You never know.
I think
that's all I'm
that's if
saying.
you're what you're looking
So
for, then yes, you
we
could.
need to focus on something better
open
for
that.
our society instead of just putting this evil shit out, this blood, this gore, this death. I don't
We
think
only
that's the way we
tolerate it for
should
one day, man.
celebrate death, you know. Well, it doesn't matter. That one day can help hungry people, you know.
And look-
that $3 billion
And
that
where I
one day-
disagree with you, see what I learned in my
I understand
research
it's a
of
choice and everybody has a
Halloween.
choice, but
What I learned in my research of Halloween was
we can shut
that-
shit down. We can shut that holiday down. We can say, right as we speak right now, there is no more Halloween.
Okay, let me ask you: do you know why?
Simple as
do you
that.
know-
We can
do you
do
know
that. All
about
we
the
got to do is write
Halloween-
it on a piece of paper.
Do you
and
know
it's
about the
done.
Halloween of 1933? Did you
No,
know what,
Sergeant.
what they talked
Why don't you
about?
tell
You-
me?
Yeah, okay,
Very
let me fill
interesting
you
that
in.
you bring that up.
That's funny because
Come on, Sergeant Broculus.
the reason in 1933 they called that Halloween the Black Halloween, the darkest Halloween. You know why? Because kids were so mischievous. Because they were so mischievous. The kids have somehow between the holiday being in Europe and the holiday floating over to America in the late
Okay, well, all they
18th
need is a good
century.
ass whooping. We can still shut the holiday down and tell the kids to
So,
stay their asses
no,
in the
no, no,
house
just
and take out the
listen,
good
just
old
listen.
paddle and the belt and whoop them
'Cause-
asses. That's all
You
we
don't
got to
think
do.
you don't think
Trick or
Quit letting the
parents,
fucking
you
kids,
don't think
quit letting your
parents did
kids
that?
have everything you want.
You don't think the parents did that back
In
then?
1933,
So-
nobody had what they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, but
The-
do you think the kids are going to do that today though? Oh, it's just October 31st.
Yes.
This
That's
holiday
not the
doesn't exist
point.
anymore.
I believe
That's
I
not
believe
right.
the
10
kids
years
are
from
just
now,
as
oh,
much.
they're
I
just
believe
gonna-
they're just as much as assholes today as they are in 1933. Now the difference is
So they're
now
just
you
gonna
have-
go out there and terrorize the fucking shit on the 31st.
Yes, they will.
Maybe.
Because why? They're
No.
dumb. They're dumb kids.
They will
Kids do
forget
that.
about it if we shut it down.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Okay, why can't they do it on any other day? Why can't they do it on any other day then?
Because this is the reason. This is the reason why this is because
But they don't even know what the reason is anymore. These damn kids now, they don't fucking know what Halloween even means. All they think it means
That's
now is
my
That's
candy.
point.
That's
and
why
fucking-
we're trying to explain it to them. And you are just saying that it's like some crazy conspiracy. And it's not.
But it I
knew that
know,
was
but
gonna
it
happen.
is though. It's still because of the worshiping of all this shit you guys put on the blood and the gore. It's still
no, it's
gets
not
into
worshiping
them.
that. That's
Not
what you're not
worshiping it.
understanding.
That's
It's
what I'm
not
saying.
worshiping
If
that.
we need to.
It's not worshiping, dude. Like worshiping.
at
Do you
all.
know
What
the
is it then?
definition of worship?
It is. You guys faithfully do it every fucking year. You dress up as some witch or some damn whatever, some ignorant ass sergeant looking thing with some blood on them. And
I don't have no blood. I'm alive and well and living in Miami.
well, you know what the hell I mean. You know what I'm saying? And that is like
It's no
what do you call it?
different. It's no
What do you call
different
it then?
than
You're
what
worshiping-
society is doing today.
That
Transgender
day.
people, transgender people that want to change who they are because they're not happy with they are. But Halloween is not about that. Halloween is about dressing up and being someone else for one day and kind of stepping out of your skin and
being something what? Dead.
no, I'm not.
Something
everybody-
evil.
Not everybody's
I'm
dead.
alive.
That's the thing, man. That's
No,
why
it's not
you're
about
wrong.
that. Okay, but look, it came from the evilness. It's still
It could have
evil.
come from everything.
even if
The
if your
idea-
costume is
Okay.
a fucking
So with your
is-
logic, with your
is
logic,
a what do you
with
call
your
it?
logic, if your
a
father
damn
was
dancer
a murderer,
or something, a
with
ballerina.
your logic is your father is a murderer, then your son is going to be a murderer too. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Well,
That ain't got
then,
nothing- no.
well, then, because
No,
if
that
something
ain't-
can start as something and it can transition into something completely different, you know, because what Halloween started as is nothing what it is today. That's what we were trying to explain to people
But
is
it's
that
still-
there is a point
it's-
in time
It still
where
comes
it
from that
transi-
though.
Yeah, you're right.
It still
just like
comes
a
from
son,
there.
just like a son that came from a murderous father, right? Just like a son that's born of a murderous father, he can or can't be prone to being a murderer when he grows up. He could either choose to do it or he can choose not to do it, right? Because he
True.
derived from evil. His dad was a murderer. He derived from evil, just like Halloween was a pagan holiday and it was evil, but it derived from that, but it has transitioned over time into something different.
I don't think that is a good example because
I believe it
the
is.
father could be evil. The father could be evil, but it doesn't
Oh,
mean that
now
the
you're
son could
just-
be evil.
There.
The whole holiday thing of the Halloween thing from start to beginning is still based off of the whole evil. Like, so you can't
It's
put
based
people.
off of evil, yes, but
That's
it's
what I'm saying.
not evil
Okay.
anymore.
Right. It's
How is it not?
Halloween, because
Because it-
You're a witch.
am I practicing witchcraft?
It doesn't matter. You're
It does.
still
does.
in
It
the
does.
appearance of
Because
evil. You're still
I-
in the appearance of evil.
And if I had dressed up like Rosie the Riveter, would I still be in the appearance of evil?
Then that's stupid. It's just whack. I mean, I understand what you guys are trying to say, but it's stupid. It's just stupid to me. Dress up
that-
any other day.
I think what Rob, I think what you're
motherfuckers dress
getting-
up every day.
Rob, what you're getting confused about is the fact you're forgetting that Christianity was put here, was converting paganism. Christianity converted paganism. The definition
and you know what?
of
That just goes back
convert.
to tell you that you can't believe none of this shit. I think it all is just bullshit. It's evil.
It might be.
Fuck it.
It might be.
Fuck it.
But
Y'all
what
celebrate
the
that shit.
information that is out there states that basically it came from a pagan celebration and holiday, and the church turned it into something else because they wanted to drain the evil of the day, of the pagan religion that they called Lemuria, right? Goes back to way back to the Celts. The Christians wanted to.
Ooh,
They wanted to
ghosts, ghouls,
get
and
rid of that.
goblins and scary shit. Evil
They wanted to
shit.
get rid of that. They
Darkness,
wanted to
death.
drain the pagan evilness of it. So then they changed the day to the first, the All Saints Day, right? And they let Lemuria happen on Hallows Eve, and then on the 1st of November, the very next day, you prayed for the next 2 days, actually, the November 1st and November 2nd. You prayed for all the religious souls and all the souls that have gone. So that was their way of cleansing, getting rid of the pagan way, getting rid of draining the death and the evil from the pagan way.
It wasn't
That's-
until the 20th
Okay,
century.
but people are still doing sacrifices.
Not because it's
During
called
Halloween.
Halloween,
but
though.
not because of Halloween.
Right.
not because of candy and dressing up and all
That's
of
because
that.
they wanted to study some weird
It
witchcraft
all ties in.
or black
It all
magic. I should
ties
say.
into the same. It's all together. It doesn't fucking
It wasn't
matter. It's
even
still
until the
Halloween.
20th
Halloween
century
originated
that-
from that shit. They're still doing sacrifices today.
but not in the name of Halloween.
Cut it off.
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
see
They're
in
not
the
that
name
doing
of
doing it.
Halloween.
sacrifices in the name of
Hallows
Halloween.
Eve, all that shit.
They're
I
doing
tell you.
sacrifices for religious purposes.
Right.
This stuff, all of this cauldrons and spooky, gory bullshit, that didn't happen until the 20th century, and it was to market Halloween.
Right.
That's
It
all
actually
it was.
started. It actually started. The ghouls and the goblins part of it started after the Civil War, because there were 500,000 soldiers that died during our Civil War in 1865, in America's Civil War. In 1865, there were so many unknown dead soldiers that this is how the ghost became a part of what we
It
know
was
Halloween.
ghost stories.
It was
and-
ghost stories. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it had nothing to do with evil and like, I mean, it did, but like, it wasn't about dressing up and
Right, it wasn't about
glorifying those
conjuring
things.
spirits and
It
doing
wasn't
all
about
that.
conjuring
It was
all
the
that up.
The ghost stories happened during Halloween because it was a spooky time, but then they added the ghosts into it because they had so many of them. There were so many unnamed soldiers that it was a common theme for ghost stories to include somebody coming back.
Yeah, like coming back from the dead and showing you what happened to them or where they're at, or even soldiers just coming home. You know what I mean? Like,
ghosts and stuff weren't part of Halloween to
Until
start
then.
with, and the candy was after what was it, the Black Halloween or the Black?
there was the
whatever.
Black Halloween of
In 1933.
1933.
There was so much vandalism and
It's like
these
the
kids
first
were, like,
soccer mom
terrorizing.
Came up with
so
this
there was
idea.
a woman that was like, okay, maybe if I like bribe them with candy, like homemade little treats, they won't trash my house. And
Right.
it worked. So she put an article out in a Good Housekeeping or something. Somebody
It's like
that
1940, like
some
literally.
magazine that all the housewives read, and they were like, she was like, listen, I gave all these little brats home like little popcorn balls and cookies and shit, and they didn't trash my house, and it fucking worked. So then they started doing this, and then all of the parents started giving the kids candy. Well, then it worked for that little neighborhood, that little community.
Yeah.
But this was still a problem everywhere else. And so eventually the I think it was like the police department and the schools got involved.
And
They
started
were like, right,
marketing it out to
let's
civic
make it like
communities.
a party,
Yeah.
right? Let's throw them like block parties, and there'll be music and candy and games, and they can all dress up. And so then
Start to
the
shed the
Halloween
evil.
party was born. And it was to get them out of trouble. It was give them something fun to do to get them out of trouble so that they stopped terrorizing their neighborhoods.
Right.
And it worked.
It worked, and it caught on.
And then
now
over
it's
time, they kind of just merged the two, and now you can have your Halloween parties and you go door to door.
I think if parents just beat their kids' ass, right?
Listen, I do beat my kids' asses sometimes, and they still fuck up.
Well, I just don't understand why the fuck are they out? Who got? I guess you're right. I guess I'm not thinking like how I was when I was young, and you're right.
Did the ass busting work on y'all?
Goods and shit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I wasn't thinking as a young
dude, I remember going out on mischief night, where we called it mischief night, man. And I would throw I TP'd people's houses, I egged things. Some of the worst things I did was we would carry the D batteries and old spark plugs.
It was always a night though. It's like it's a night how they allow this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, for instance, like Omaha days, it happens every 2 years, right? So the city allows this to happen, but then there's a lot more murders during those days of Omaha days. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But they allow the shit to happen. Same way as Halloween, they allow this to keep rolling on. So everybody knows on that night it's a crazy night. Let's go get all the liquor, booze we can. Let's get drunk. Let's get crazy. Blah blah blah. Because they know everybody's gonna be out that night. They know people are wearing masks. Yeah, people are more susceptible to do something more crazy or something. Just cut it all off, and nobody has a reason to go out.
I think
to do that shit in the first
fun
place.
Element though.
Cut it off.
It's a fun element though.
Yeah, look how well it worked cutting off the country for a virus. You think cutting off Halloween is
okay? But this is 2020. This is 2020. Exactly. They got your ass wearing a mask. They can do it.
Well, man, I
got you wearing a mask.
I got news for you. We weren't
I
sure
ain't wearing no damn
Halloween
mask.
was going to be canceled or what was going to happen, if there was going to be a neighborhood.
You're already wearing masks. Why would they cancel that? It's the evil night. Oh, hell no. They got to keep sacrifices rolling. They're not canceling that shit. I promise you that. They not going to cancel Halloween. I promise you. They love the
even if they
shit.
did,
you're already wearing masks.
You're find a way. People would still find a way. Because
this brings me to my next point. I'm kind of pissed off that they're not going to show. You're right, Rob. They are canceling shit. They are canceling shit for Halloween. They canceled Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin Patch. I'm mad about that. I grew up on that shit.
Charlie Brown.
Well, good.
No, not good. That is a classic cartoon, man.
Depressing.
That is a classic cartoon.
Whoa, a cartoon?
Yeah. Charlie
Brown
and the Great Pumpkin Patch.
He's talking about like some type of festival or some shit. No, the cartoon. They actually canceled the cartoon. Why?
They took it off the air.
No one knows why. They just decided for the first time in ever. I don't know. Maybe because it's 2020. Who the fuck knows? They decided that, the old Charlie Brown cartoons that come on during the holidays, they decided they're not going to do it. So, I mean, I guess you're kind of starting to get your wish. They want to start canceling things and shutting the thing down. Then I guess that's what it is. But if you ask me, that's just going to reverse things. I think that's going to take pissed off teenagers. I mean, you see where they're at right now, even with racial problems, with political problems, with the COVID lockdown. You see where their minds are at now. You take something like Halloween away from them, a celebration where they can, step out of their own skin and be somebody else and be open and be free for a second. You're going to go right back to Black Halloween.
Honors don't even really go trick-or-treating anymore, I don't believe. It's the littler kids that go trick-or-treating.
But they have Halloween
My
parties.
son, by the time he was like 13 or some shit, he He quit going.
Yeah,
doing
actually,
trick-or-treating and wearing masks
it
and
was
shit.
majority. It was a mainly a kids thing all the way up until about like 50 or 60 years ago when adults started kind of intermingling with us, like uh, like the kids from like the 40s and 50s. Their first kind of like those were the kids of like the first Halloweens, like the actual dressing up and going out and trick-or-treating. That was like so they wanted to kind of mimic that as we got older with the children in the 70s and the 80s, and now here we are wanting to do the same thing with our kids. You know what I mean? Like so the adult thing didn't even start until like probably the 40s or 50s, adults being a part of it. And then you had the Charlie Brown with the Great Pumpkin Patch. That's when Hollywood decided to put their finger into Halloween, and that was around the 50s and 60s. And then you had
Disney.
I can't remember the guy's name right now, but the guy that directed and created the
Disney's
movie
really
Halloween
bad for satanic shit.
The guy that created the movie
America.
We can
Halloween.
do a whole other episode on Disney.
Right. But yeah, man, and now it has become what we know it to be today. They've implemented in the last 30 years haunted houses, man. Like, because there was nothing. You were either a kid that was dressing up and going to get candy, or you were an adult that was staying home to hand out candy, and there was no in between. And now you got all kinds of stuff for everybody to do.
And I think it makes it more fun for the adult that takes the
I
kid
understand,
out
but it's still
that go.
evil.
You can like have a family costume, you
It's
can go
still
as
evil.
like the
Haunted,
mystery
scary
gang
houses
from
with demons in it.
Scooby-Doo.
That's telling our kids that's cool. Well, when we can be focusing on different shit as a society, I think it's just.
I think it breaks up some of
this
the. I think
election
it
we're about
breaks
to
it
have
up
is
with
fucking
some
retarded.
fun.
But
I think it does too. I think it would break society. I think society needs these types of holidays to where we are all thinking along the same lines. You know what I mean? Like where we
I
all.
think it gives us an opportunity to have a little fun among all of our mundane everyday. I get up Monday through Friday every morning at 4:30 and go to work, and
Yeah.
and the kids go to school and everybody's got schedules and everybody's got shit going on and all this adulting is happening. I kind of like to have a little break from it and
well,
do
why don't we
something
have
fun.
like a national Save a Forest Day or
We do.
Plant a Tree
Arbor
Day
Day.
or some shit like that?
Arbor
It
Day.
is Arbor Day.
Well, you can still get rid of Halloween though. You got all these damn days. You don't need Halloween. I mean, damn, y'all don't have to have something to do on air once a month. There has to be a freaking holiday. That's one of the holidays that we can get rid of.
Well, there you have it, guys. Rob wants to cancel Halloween. What do you guys think? Should we get rid of this Halloween? Do you guys still think that it has something to do with the pagan origins? Is it evil? Are we summoning people from the dead? I don't know. Rob seems to think so. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think so. I think what it is it's good, wholesome fun that families can do something together. I think it gives our young teens.
You guys end up brainwashed like that.
I think it gives our young teens a little something to look forward to rather than nothing to look forward to. So, in closing on today's
it's one
episode,
freaking day, Mike.
It's one day.
It's one day out of your year. Oh my God, people! It's one freaking day. I'm just saying we can do something more positive with that day. I think. So,
Well, there you have
if
it.
you guys agree, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree, well, fuck you. Nah, I'm playing. We love your opinion anyway. We love your opinion anyway. So go ahead and leave them down there too.
For sure. You guys can check us
We're
out
making
at
emails
What the Fuck
now.
America YouTube. You guys can also check us out on Facebook at What the Fuck America Podcast. And you guys can also check us out on Twitter at What the Fuck America 19 on Twitter. I want to thank you guys for stopping by for this episode, The Origins of Halloween. And I want to encourage you guys to stick to our channel.
At the appearance of evil, and it says right in the Bible that you should not condone to the appearance of evil.
You know what, Rob? This is not the appearance of evil. This is the appearance of freedom. Oh, fuck America. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.
Everyone hail to the pumpkin song.
This time, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise.
Hiding in the trash and something's swelling
Freak out, yo!
And now you're
Everybody scream! Everybody scream!
in our town of Halloween.
Everybody scream! Everybody scream!